There is a lot of focus this morning, Boydie, on Erik ten Hag's future at Manchester United. Some would say the dreaded vote of confidence. He's had the backing of the Manchester United hierarchy all across the newspapers this morning, on our website as well. What do you make of this, and what do you make of the timing of this, considering what happened to them against Liverpool on Sunday?
I think somebody had to speak because, there's, if you don't take control of the situation, then people will write what they want to write. Whereas if someone from the club comes out and explains the situation and tells you that, we don't, we ain't going to get rid of him anytime soon, then you are controlling the agenda, basically. Whether you agree with it or not, I still think that, if results continue the way that they are, then it's going to be very difficult, even for the hierarchy, to back him. They've done that in the summer. I still think that they went round the houses and couldn't find someone that was ready for the Manchester United job. Hence the reason why Erik ten Hag kept his job. Looking at it as well, you've got to. I know, he's rewarded and new contract and stuff like that as well. But, if you're Erik ten Hag and you know that the club has went around and actively speaking to people and trying to get other people, and then, your backroom staff has changed, you kind of get the feeling that, are you really in control of what's going on here? Yes, he's got a huge say in the signings, there's no doubt about that. But, on the pitch, it's not been good for Manchester United, and they're going to have to improve, because they ain't going to get away with it for much longer. Because, there seems to just be an acceptance now that, Manchester United, we'll finish fourth, we'll finish fifth, we'll finish sixth. If you're Manchester United and you grew up supporting them, from the 90s, and even, obviously Sir Alex Ferguson was a different animal altogether. But, there's periods of time there where you thought, that Manchester United were the Manchester City of now. It was a foregone conclusion they were going to win the league. Whereas now you're celebrating them finishing fourth, fifth, and sixth. It's got to get better for Manchester United.
Yeah, FA Cup winners last year. Now, what was noticeable for me watching on Super Sunday was there were fans booing at Old Trafford. We don't often hear that. What element of the club do you think the fans have been most frustrated with?
It doesn't. Everything all boils down to the pitch. There's nothing you can. I know when things sometimes go bad off the pitch, and the hierarchy will start to get it. But the reality is, if you're winning games of football, nobody will question what's going on above you. Winning games of football covers up absolutely everything. And when you don't, then people start to ask questions. They start to look, below the bonnet. So I think for Manchester United, if they can get back to winning games, it will give them time. But I don't think they're going to be in a position to go and win it week in, week out. So this is going to be a trend. They might go and win 3-4 games in the bounce now, and it'll all get quiet again. Then they'll lose 2 or 3 games, and then everything resurfaces, and everybody's having a go again. I'll say it again. You need to win games of football.
It always seems noisiest when it doesn't quite go right at Old Trafford, more than any other club. They've had one win.
Because they're used to winning, though, Chris. I think when you have set everybody in Manchester United, the bar is there. That they set it there. When you go back to the 90s, Alex Ferguson, obviously Real Madrid and Manchester United and Barcelona, they're huge football clubs. But, what Manchester United attract worldwide, you're always going to be under pressure. And when it's not at that level, you've got to come under criticism, and you're going to have to deal with it. You can't have it both ways. You're at the biggest club in the world. There'll be a lot of perks. Go with that. You get. But the flip side of that is, when it doesn't go to plan, then you're going to get criticised.
Just on that board backing then that we've seen across all of the newspapers, on our websites, we've been reporting it this morning. 1 win, 2 defeats in their 3 games so far. If it were to continue like this, how much will that backing be tested? And could we see a change of manager this season, do you think?
If it continues, there will be a change of manager. There's no doubt about it. You can't continue to lose games of football and expect to keep your job. Erik ten Hag will know that. He needs to find a way to get that team performing and start getting results. Even the Fulham game, I thought they huffed and puffed. They weren't great. Obviously got the victory. Brighton, they could have won it at Brighton, but they could easily have lost it as well. And Brighton were missing 4. Everybody goes on about Manchester United. So if you go back to that day, Brighton were missing 4 or 5 players that would probably have started that day as well. So it wasn't a full strength Brighton team that were able to beat them. Then at the weekend, you can lose a game of football, but the way that they lost that to Liverpool at the weekend, your biggest rivals, more or less go down without a fight. I mean, we've seen Liverpool go to Old Trafford and thrash them in the past, but I mean, Sunday was as comfortable, a game as I've seen.